Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started.
Today, we're diving headfirst into Nash Falls. And based on the sources, this is not just a novel. It's a high-octane study of corporate espionage, crashing right into some really deep personal ruin.
It really is.
So our mission today is to trace this harrowing journey. We're going chronologically, following Walter Nash's spectacular fall from a suit-wearing senior exec to a highly lethal fugitive operative.
It's a massive arc. I mean, at the start, Walter Nash is the absolute definition of Wall Street success. He's a senior executive VP at a place called Sybaritic Investments, pulling in a seven-figure salary.
Right. He's the guy who measures his whole life in, quarterly reports and acquisition metrics.
Exactly. He's rich, he's methodical, but he is fundamentally alone. He's kind of aloof from his wife, Judith, distant from his daughter, Maggie.
And completely estranged from his father, Ty Nash. And Ty was a tough Vietnam vet dealing with all the health effects of Agent Orange.
And it's Ty's funeral that really kicks everything off. It is so awkward and profane, and it just immediately introduces us to this strange, chaotic undercurrent of Ty's life that Walter had, successfully ignored for decades.
Oh, absolutely. You see this collision of worlds. You have Ty's best friend, this massive, blunt guy, Isaiah York, everyone calls him Shock, who gives this brutal, honest eulogy that just makes all the executives squirm.
And then there's Ty's girlfriend, Rosie Parker, who's just so ill-fitting and vulnerable. It's like this bizarre, unpredictable energy just latches right on to Nash.
And the chaos goes from emotional to criminal almost instantly. Nash is dealing with a hangover, his father's death, and literally moments after the burial.
The FBI shows up.
Yep. And Agent Reed Morris, who just accosts Nash after midnight, and he gets straight to the point, confirming this deep suspicion Nash has had that something is profoundly wrong at his company.
And he says that Nash's boss, the CEO, Everett Rhett Temple, this $200 million man, is in deep with dangerous people.
Let's unpack the whiplash here for a second. Nash is this cautious introvert, right? The numbers guy.
He lives by the rules.
Totally. And now the FBI is telling him his entire career is basically a front for organized crime. And their objective is blunt. Become an informant or you're going down with them.
It's the ultimate disruption. And the book contrasts Nash's sudden fear with Rhett Temple's, his ongoing self-inflicted chaos.
Oh, yeah. Rhett is introduced high on coke, just drowning in resentment because his powerful father, Barton Temple, constantly tells him he's an incompetent failure.
The insights into Rhett are so dark. He goes from checking on his sister Angie, who's low-functioning and kept in this room like a perpetual childhood,
to immediately going to his father's estate, intercepting his dad's blindfolded sex mate, paying her off, and then sexually exploiting her in his car.
It's just this casual, absolute abuse of power.
Exactly. Meanwhile, Nash has to go to the reading of his father's will, which is a whole other kind of violation of his expectations.
Right. Two big surprises. First, Ty leaves his girlfriend Rosie, a life interest in the house, and some money.
Which is a surprise.
But the real emotional gut punch is that Ty left his $550,000 Agent Orange settlement in a trust for Maggie, Nash's daughter.
Yeah.
A granddaughter he supposedly never even met.
And that forces Nash to confront the past. He finds this sealed letter from his father that explains their whole lifelong estrangement.
It turns out, when Nash was 14, he cruelly rejected his sick mother in front of a girl he liked. Just humiliated her.
And Ty, who adored his wife, carried that one single moment as a grudge for his entire life. But the letter also says he loved his son, despite it all.
And it gives him this one piece of advice. If you're ever in a life or death situation, find Shock. It's like this ultimate insurance policy from a loving but, brutally tough father.
And the problem he needs help with is becoming terrifyingly clear. He starts connecting the dots at Sybaritic, linking his dad's strange advice to a deadly pattern he'd previously just dismissed.
He remembers 3 deaths, all tied to recent Sybaritic acquisitions. There was Alexandra Singer, an accountant who supposedly fell off a cliff. Danielle Cho, a contract specialist, shot in a home invasion that was never solved. And Peter Lombard, a controller, an alleged suicide.
And he realizes they weren't random at all. They were almost certainly moles, just like the FBI wants them to be. They found the fraud, and they were eliminated.
It's a stark pattern. An accident, a murder, and a suicide.
Yes.
He's target number 4.
So now let's shift to how Nash, this corporate guy, leverages his skills when he's facing total ruin. He goes to D.C. to meet with Agent Morris and the deputy AG.
And this is a huge meeting. They lay out the whole scale of the conspiracy. This isn't just white-collar crime.
No, it's a national security threat. This woman, Victoria Steers, is running a global synthetic opioid and fentanyl empire, backed by Chinese money, and she's laundering billions.
So Nash is facing this impossible choice. Prison or witness protection, stocking shelves somewhere for the rest of his life.
But he doesn't crumble. Instead, he immediately turns it into a hostile corporate takeover. He demands a massive payoff.
It's incredible. He demands $1.5 billion, tax-free, plus another 20% for risking his family's lives.
A total of $1.8 billion. To be an informant. The agents are just speechless. They think he's clinically nuts.
But he insists he's being completely rational. He's tracing his life, his family's security, and his services, and he delivers instantly.
He uses a burner phone, a VPN. You see the first steps of his transformation here, and he gets into Sybaritic's second set of books.
And that's where he confirms the whole $70 million money laundering scheme. For anyone who might not follow financial crime, he basically traces the money through the classic steps.
Right, there's the placement, getting the dirty cash in, then layering, moving it all around to hide where it came from, and finally extraction, pulling the now clean money out.
He also finds the real smoking gun. Barton Temple's massive financial trouble back in 2009. Barton was over $1 billion in the red.
So he had to get a bailout. He sold a portfolio of New York City buildings to a Singaporean firm for $3 billion, which was like 10 times the market rate.
And that overpayment, that's it. That's the proof. Nash realizes the Steers organization provided that bailout. They own Barton Temple, lock, stock, and barrel.
And even worse, it means Nash's own successful acquisitions division became the perfect place to hide all that dirty money. He was an accomplice the whole time and never even knew it.
The professional betrayal is just staggering. But then the personal one hits even harder.
Right. As he's figuring this all out, he learns his wife, Judith, is having an affair with Rhett Temple.
The corporate criminal and the personal betrayer,
they're
the same guy.
And that collapse of his career and his marriage just triggers immediate catastrophic consequences. His daughter, Maggie, who's already upset, disappears right after confronting her mom about the affair.
And the enemy moves so fast. A security guard, Billy Adams, tells Nash he saw fake cops enter the gates that night.
And then Billy Adams is murdered just a little while later, made to look like a car accident to silence the only witness.
To completely destroy Nash, they deploy this awful public weapon. They force Maggie to record a viral video accusing him of child molestation.
Turning him into this publicly hated fugitive overnight, his reputation is just gone.
And the final betrayal. Judith sees the video, her daughter crying, and she calls the actual police on her own husband.
It's the perfect storm, but Nash, just running on instinct, calls the one lifeline his father gave him. He calls Shock.
And Shock rescues him in a van just as the police are arriving, forcing Nash to leave his phone, his house, his entire life behind.
And while he's escaping, the enemy's own structure is having a violent shift. Rhett confronts his father, Barton, about how dangerous Steers really is.
And it escalates to parricide. Rhett throws his own father off the balcony to his death.
But the shocking part isn't even the murder itself. It's Rhett's ice-cold calculation right after.
Wait, you mean leveraging his sister Angie's trust shares? Right after committing parricide. That is almost more shocking than the act.
Absolutely. He blackmails his stepmom to cover it up and instantly cements his own control over the entire empire. So the man Nash is running from is now a parricidal monster.
Nash gets to Shock's remote training facility, the CQIF, and the mission just fundamentally changes.
Shock confirms what Nash already fears. Steers doesn't leave witnesses, Maggie was likely killed, and that confirmation just crushes Nash.
So his plea changes. It's no longer about rescue. It's about training for revenge.
And Shock agrees, but he makes it clear that the real transformation has to be psychological. He echoes Ty's old combat advice. They ain't people no more, they're obstacles.
Nash has to eliminate his humanity, his caution, his ethics. He has to obliterate that part of himself to survive.
And the book spends a lot of time on this intense physical and mental transformation. Nash is fueled by vengeance. He shaves his head, grows a beard, and even lets Shock break and reset his nose to change his profile.
But the final, irreversible step is literally erasing Walter Nash. He goes under general anesthesia for 9 hours while 4 artists cover his body in tattoos.
A huge lion, intricate chain work. He is completely unrecognizable, even to himself.
Walter Nash is gone. He emerges as Dylan Hope, this muscled, tatted-up, hyper-competent security expert with a perfectly forged backstory. He's achieved the possible to attempt the impossible.
And his infiltration plan is brilliant. He orchestrates an attack on Rhett Temple and the woman who took Nash's old job, Elaine Fix.
And Nash, as Dylan Hope, swoops in and just expertly incapacitates the attackers. It's this calculated demonstration of skill designed specifically to impress Rhett.
And it works. He gets hired as Rhett's personal security detail.
Under this cover, he observes Rhett. He even visits his old home and finds Judith just lost in pills and despair. The price of her betrayal is right there.
But his resolve is really solidified when he visits Rosie Parker. She doesn't recognize his face, of course, but she recognizes his spirit. She tells him, "You just seem like Mr. Nash to me."
Wow.
And then, in the darkest moment, he goes to the wooded area where Maggie's remains were found, and he finds her locket under a tree. And that just cements it. This is about pure vengeance now.
So the stage is set. Rhett is CEO, and Nash, as Dylan Hope, goes with him to Hong Kong for a critical meeting with Victoria Steers.
And Steers delivers an immediate, chilling message about her own ruthlessness. As soon as they're in her penthouse, she just pulls out a pistol and executes her own trusted aide, Ryder, right in front of them.
Oh my.
The body is wrapped in plastic and gone in minutes. It's just this brutal, quick confirmation of what the stakes are.
The shock is palpable. But Nash is now fully embedded. He's tricked his way to the very top. He immediately replaces the dead aide, becoming Rhett's handler and bodyguard, flying out of America with the enemy. The ultimate confrontation is waiting for him.
The transformation of Walter Nash is complete. It's irreversible. He shed his predictable identity, his career, his family, his ethics, all for this dangerous mission he negotiated for himself.
Yeah, what really stands out is the high cost of all this, the cost of knowledge, the cost of action. Nash went from a man obsessed with financial metrics and control
to someone who had to embrace total chaos and violence just to survive.
And the question this story leaves you with, the learner, is, well, it's pretty relevant in any high-stakes situation. What part of your core self, your history, your ethics, your very appearance, would you be willing to sacrifice if it was the only way to protect what you love?
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.